there's only one seat left for 2023, and Gunther Steiner has given us an update on what we can be expecting. Let's get right into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Formula One Digest. I'm your host, Tyson De Silva, and today I'm reacting to Gunther Steiner giving us an update on what we can be expecting for the 2023 Haas driver lineup. And folks, Mick Schumacher is not guaranteed to get the seat. This is something we've been talking about for a very long time now, that Gunther has not made it 100% certain that Mick is going to get the seat. It looks like they are down to two drivers in Mick Schumacher and another German driver who hasn't been on the F1 grid consistently since 2019 in Nico Hülkenberg. And Nico is a guy who was decent for his time in F1. He didn't really do anything outstanding. He's never won a race. He had a promising junior career. And now it looks like he's trying to make a return to F1. And Gunther was quoted saying that at this point, it doesn't matter what Mick does in the season. It's going to be completely based on who they think will deliver for the future of Haas and who can be their driver for the medium to long term. If you ask me, Mick Schumacher is still the obvious candidate for this seat. As good as Nico Hülkenberg is and can be in that Haas seat, I just think that at 35 years old, he should not be considered your long-term driver, especially if you're looking to make noise in the future. With Mick Schumacher, not only do you have a very obviously well-known name in F1, but you also have a driver who is young and can be still developed and who you can turn into a really good driver and a guy who can support you for the long term. Of course, there is rumors that Mick is done with Haas and wants to move on, but with Logan Sargent basically securing the seat at Williams, there really is nowhere else for him to go, and Mick has severed a lot of ties as of late, as he cut his ties with the Ferrari Driver Academy and doesn't seem to be on the best side of Gunther Steiner, as Gunther seems to be quite fed up with Mick's regular crashes and shunts and how he has cost the team a lot of money this season with very little results. Of course, it hasn't been all doom and gloom for Mick either. He did finish in the British Grand Prix with a points finish. I believe it was eighth place. And then he finished it in sixth place in Austria after fighting with Lewis Hamilton. Mick still has a lot of time to become a regular and strong driver in F1, but I guess it's a question of, is Haas willing to still accept those growing pains in a guy who will be in his third campaign next year? And with Nico Hülkenberg, you're getting a guy who knows how to race in F1 and how to be consistently good. Nico was a decent driver prior to his semi-retirement until he took this role as a reserve driver. And a lot of people think he has been offered the role for Haas, and we're just waiting for the announcement, because Stoffel Van Dorn, a former McLaren driver, has taken his place as Aston Martin's reserve. So we're really just going to have to wait and see. Gunther Steiner was quoted saying that we might know by Brazil, but the latest that we will know is right before Abu Dhabi, which will conclude the 2022 season. So we're definitely going to have to see what happens with Mick Schumacher and whether he's going to get replaced by an older driver or if he'll be able to hold his seat. I think if he really wants to show that he can be a long-term piece for the team, or at least until 2026 when he moves to Audi, he needs to go on a tear for the next two races and not really have that many mistakes and just push till the end, in all honesty. And I'm not the only one who seems to think that Mick Schumacher is the best fit for the future of Haas. Romain Grosjean, a former Haas driver, has backed Mick Schumacher, saying that he's seen a lot of growth within Mick's career, especially in this year, and he believes that Mick should be the driver for next year. For those of you who don't know who Romain Grosjean is, he is a driver that drove for Haas for a very long time, and then due to an unfortunate accident in the 2020 season, he retired from F1 and is now currently racing in IndyCar, where he's had a pretty decent showing, I believe. And he's a guy that obviously has he knows the Haas system. He knows what they value and what they should look for, and he obviously still follows the sport. And he thinks that Mick has grown a lot, especially in this last year. And I think that we've seen that as viewers because he was racing against Max Verstappen in the British Grand Prix, and he was also racing against Lewis Hamilton in Austria. And that's not an easy task considering the car that he's in. So I think that if they really want to see Mick flourish, and if Haas wants to flourish, it's literally a done deal there. So I do believe that Romain Grosjean has a very strong point, and I think that if you want to get an opinion from someone who really knows Haas, it's from him because he was with the team for so long. Of course, there is also a bit of drama if Nico Hülkenberg gets the seat because he and Kevin Magnussen, who is the other Haas driver, have never really seen eye to eye, and they do fight a lot. They never really have gotten along. So I think it would be kind of interesting to see what would happen in that respect if Nico Hülkenberg were to get the seat. But like I said, we're going to have to wait until at least Brazil or Abu Dhabi to find out who's going to be racing for Haas in the future. And this could potentially be the end of Mick's career for the time being, because I don't think that there's going to be that many seats available next year or the year after that. Moving on, of course, we have news from Christian Horner as he dives deeper into the Norris discussions. And folks, Lando Norris had made it clear that he did talk to Red Bull prior to signing an extension with McLaren, but he had made it sound as if it wasn't a very thorough chat or a very deep chat, and that it was more just a casual, hey, this is what we could offer you. But Christian Horner kind of went out and said that, yes, we did have talks with Lando, and they honestly thought that they were close to stealing him from McLaren. And apparently, this isn't the first time they've tried to get Lando Norris, as they really wanted him to replace former Toro Rosso driver Brendan Hartley in 2018. Of course, Lando has been with McLaren his whole F1 career, and it looks as though they may still look to pursue him in the long term, as Sergio Perez's extension ends, I believe, in 2024, and Lando's ends in 2025. So we can definitely expect to see Red Bull trying to poach Lando Norris once again from Red Bull. And I think this will be especially the case if when Checo decides that he's had enough, or if he's not performing at the level that he is now and they decide to cut him. And if Nick de Vries doesn't work out, because we've talked about how Nick de Vries could be a future driver, they may look to go outside of their own farm. And McLaren has a couple of drivers that they would definitely be interested. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out in the long run. But for now, Lando is going to be a McLaren driver. And honestly, I think that's the best career move for him. We've talked about it before, me and Mark, and we think that if he were to go to Red Bull, he'd just be playing second fiddle to Max Verstappen. And I don't think that he wants that. He wants to win races and be successful in this industry. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share with your friends. Let us know what you think. Do you think that Lando Norris should eventually move to Red Bull to partner with Max Verstappen? Do you think that Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg will be a good driver tandem if that works out? And do you think that Mick Schumacher's career is over? Let us know below. We'd love to see the comments, and we will see you guys in the next one.